Tech support is here, ruining my flow. That's my husband. So we have a restorative yoga class planned today. I am so excited about this, honestly. Yesterday I was live and I was taking some requests. What do you guys want to do? Normally when I've done these lives, we've done more of a vinyasa flow, especially in the morning, something a little bit more fiery. And then I had some suggestions for heart openers and kind of chest openers. Then we pulled yesterday's card. And we were just kind of immediately faced with what we actually need to be here now, to slow down, to anchor deeply in the body, and to try to lower our pace a little bit, to try to really do what we can to remain more grounded, especially now that we're at day 33 of this challenge. For me, this is day 38 of lockdown. We're starting to think that this is a new version of normal. And it's important that we stay grounded in the fact that it is not. Life is not going to be like this forever. This is temporary. And we got to do the best we can every single day. So that is why we are doing a restorative yoga practice today, which I am so excited about. I'm one of those people who, you guys know, you know me. I have to kind of be dragged by the hair to do a yin practice or to do a restorative or super calm yoga practice. It's one of those things that even though it's what makes me feel the best, it's the class that I don't just naturally take. Like I always move towards something fiery because that's who I am. But what I actually need more in my life are these kinds of practices, these restorative kinds of practices. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the props that we're going to need for this class, so that while I go through the theme and things like that, if you don't have anything available yet, if you feel like you're not prepared, that you can give yourself a moment. We have about 5 or 10 minutes before we actually start heading over to the mat. So for a restorative practice, this is not going to be a traditional yin. I do restorative yoga my way. But we are going to anchor into the yin energy of the practice today, meaning that the fiery sun yang type energy that we're anchoring into when we're practicing a vinyasa flow, it heats the body, as you know. We're moving, we're going from one place to the next, using the breath as an anchor to go from place to place. In a restorative practice, or when we tap into the yin energy, it's very different in a sense of we move much less. And actually what we're doing is creating a depth of the practice inside of ourselves where we can actually allow for a surrender to happen. So we hold poses much longer. It's not vinyasa in a sense that we move with the breath the whole time. Actually, we might just do, I don't know how many poses I have planned for the day. We might do 5-6 poses today, and that's it. So if you've never done a restorative or a yin type practice before, if you're only familiar with a vinyasa or ashtanga type practice, this might be really challenging for you. It was for me when I started incorporating this practice into my life. You might find that your mind gets a little bit louder in the beginning. The mind likes to attach, like the monkey mind likes to hold on to something and swing from branch to branch, go from pose to pose, place to place. So for someone who has that kind of busy mind or who's used to having a lot of fire or on the go all the time, it is easier to stay present in the beginning when we're in a vinyasa practice because you're moving the whole time, right? The level of presence that you get is also very different because you're moving all the time. Similar to if you're practicing meditation and you're using a mantra, you're using something to keep the mind occupied all the time. It is a different level of presence than just being faced with absolute nothing, than a Vipassana style practice, for instance. So as we hold the poses today, I'm going to do less talking than I normally do. I'm going to invite more silence. We have a playlist available for this class. It's on the Yoga Girl Spotify. It's called Live Yoga Class, April 20. Super simple. I labeled the playlists for the day's date, so you can always find them. And what we're going to do is we're going to use a ton of props for this practice. Now, obviously, we are all in quarantine and lockdown. You know, you're not at a yoga studio the way I am right now, so I am well aware that you might have limited resources at home. That's why I want to show you. So whether or not you're actually, taking this class immediately, or if you're going to come back to it later, I'm going to show you some things that you can use in lieu of traditional yoga studio props so that you can actually create space for this practice yourself. The point of these props today is to give you more support. That is literally it, is to give you more support. So in whichever way you can create a little more structure from the ground, so you can allow yourself to actually melt and stay longer in a place. We're not looking for that kind of deep sensation in all the poses we're going to come to today. We're not looking for, the 80% of the stretch. We're kind of going to linger in the 30% area of your full range of motion, so you can actually allow yourself to melt and have the deepening of each pose come from the release, not from the pulling or trying to go deeper. So, props that we have, I'm going to lean so you guys can see in the back. Props that I have available here is I have a bolster, I have 2 blocks, a strap, and 2 blankets. So the yoga bolsters we use here at Island Yoga are these kinds of traditional cylindrical shapes. This is a cylinder, I just learned. If you don't have that around, not everybody does, I'm going to show you 2 ways you can create a makeshift bolster at home. One of them is, and this is my favorite way because this literally works just as well, is to take a yoga mat. Can you guys see? So I have a rolled up yoga mat here, like a tightly rolled, just regular yoga mat. And then I have wrapped a blanket around it. So I still get the cylindrical shape that I want, and it's a little bit sturdy still, meaning I can lean this against the block, against a stack of books, against something, and give myself a little bit of an incline. So if you have an extra mat, this is the way to go to make your makeshift bolster. If you don't have an extra mat, you can do the same thing by wrapping a blanket in a blanket in a blanket, or a towel in a towel in a towel. Like a beach towel or a thick or a wide towel would work really, really well for this. Make sure the inner one is rolled tightly. And if you have something that's a little sturdier, I don't know what that would be, like a stick or a piece of something that's a little bit sturdier than just fabric, that's going to help you for this practice. But if you don't, that's totally fine. So a blanket in a blanket or a towel in a towel. So we get that same shape, bolster style, okay? Those are the options for bolsters. And then what else do I have? I have a strap. The strap, traditional yoga strap, looks like this. If you don't have that available, anything long that you can find at home. So here I have a belt, like an actual belt. It's going to work just as well. If you don't have that, I actually prefer to use scarves if I don't have a strap around where I'm at. So anything long, like a tie. I have used surfboard leashes in my yoga practice, anything long, just to help you elongate and give you a little bit of extra space. We'll also use this at the end of practice if you want to cover something over your eyes in lieu of an eye pillow. So I like the soft ones, but a belt or anything long also really works. And then finally, we have the blankets, of course. Blankets, I think we all have something similar at home, super easy to substitute. A thick folded up towel is going to work really well. We have 2 of those right now. And then finally, I have 2 blocks. At Island Yoga, we use these cork blocks. I really like them because they're super sturdy. If you don't have any blocks available right now, a stack of books is going to do the tricks. So the books I have today, I love the actual books that I have. Yes. So I have a Karma Yoga book in Dutch, a Course in Miracles. That's an essential one. I have a book on Rumi. I read it already 100 times. And then I have The Great Landscapes of Sweden. So any selection of books that are thick and sturdy are really good. And you're going to use them as something to lean your bolster on today, to give you a little bit of height, a little bit of a lift, a little bit of extra support. So a big, thick stack of books is awesome. If you want to go like MacGyver with it, you can take a few books and you can duct tape them together or wrap them in something so that they stay compact, but literally. If you don't want to do any of this, just throw a bunch of cushions and pillows and blankets on your mat and you're going to be just fine today. Just something that you can give yourself a little more support. Are we good on props? I think so. Okay, so reminder that today's practice is happening on yogagirl.com, not on Instagram, not on Facebook, not on YouTube, just yogagirl.com. So you still have a couple of minutes to go over to yogagirl.com and create your account if you haven't already, to tune in over there. Meanwhile, I'm going to talk a little bit about today's theme. Let me take a breath, moving from prop. I would be a good school teacher, I think, because I like to present things. Today, for day 33 of this challenge, of this community challenge, our theme for today is temple. And when I chose temple as a theme, what I mean is our temple, the temple that is present in our lives every single day, the temple that we live and experience life from, the temple that is our body. So treating our bodies as a temple, treating our bodies as a sacred space. And I think this is something that so many of us struggle with immensely. Not just taking good care of our bodies in the sense of doing things that make our bodies feel good, but actually treating our bodies well in a sense of how we speak to ourselves. I don't know if anyone else resonates with this, but I'm having a hard time in quarantine just because we're literally confined to our houses. And even though, yes, I can still go for a run, I can roll out my mat, like I have those same tools to move my body a lot, I'm just not motivated enough to move all the time. I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like going for a run. Like it's harder to, at least for me it is. I have friends and people I see online who are like, this is like a boot camp and I'm gonna get out of this lockdown super, super strong. And I'm like, who are you? I'm baking and napping, like we're doing what we can to survive this lockdown. So I would love for us to give ourselves some space today to shift our perception and awareness around our body from looking at the body from the outside in to feeling the body from the inside out, to experiencing the body, to allowing and embracing the body, not for what it looks like, not for the reflection in the mirror or whatever silly number that you see on the scale, but for what your body does for you every single day. And I think we are all so very distant from that. And we all live in a society that tells us constantly, we are bombarded with messages telling us, we are not good enough. The body that you have is not good enough. Your body should be different. It should be more firm, more toned, thinner, smaller, tighter. You should be, it's like we have all these messages all day long telling us, just don't relax in your body. Don't allow your body to be the way it is. Don't feel good enough in this body. You got to change. And even if you have changed or you have improved something, there's always something that could be better. We could always be a little more beautiful. We could always be a little thinner. We could always be so and so and so. And it takes a lot of work, a lot of inner work for each of us to overcome those messages or to tune those messages out and to overcome the conditioning that we have lived through our entire lives that's told us that we're not good enough the way we are. And it's really heavily ingrained, really heavily ingrained. And I do a lot of work around this. I really, really, really do. I spend so much time practicing self-love, so much time practicing existing in my body, experiencing my body. I'm really good at catching myself with that negative self-talk and then turning that around. And I have days when I wake up and I feel like a fat cow. And I feel like I am the ugliest person who's ever lived. I'm terrible. No one's ever really going to love me. I think I've gained weight. Like I don't even have a scale because it, freaks me out. It doesn't help me at all. And I'll have days where I just look at myself in the mirror and I feel terrible, terrible. And really, what's changed from the day before where maybe I felt great or maybe I didn't even think about my body in that way. I'm just living in my body. Or when I have days when I walk past the mirror and go, I look wonderful. I'm a beautiful human being. What really changed from day to day isn't my physical appearance. It's not like I gained 100 pounds overnight or something crazy happened that made me shift my awareness of who I am. What changed is my inner space. What changed is how grounded I'm feeling. What changed is how balanced I'm feeling. What changed maybe is how much time I gave myself that day to really be present with how I feel. So the natural reaction that I would love for us to practice having those days when we are beating ourselves up more is to not go for that external change of, oh my God, I gotta lose some weight. I gotta go for a run. I gotta go work out. I gotta eat less. I gotta start a diet. I have to. To not go that route, which we know it isn't taking us anywhere good. We know it doesn't work. We know dieting doesn't work. We know we don't feel good going that route. So instead of reaching for those things, instead of trying to do the things that we think are going to make us look different so that we're going to feel different, which isn't true, to instead have our natural reaction be to go within, to go inside, to catch that thought and work with that thought of, I'm not good enough, instead of catching that reflection in the mirror and work on that. So going within, okay, I don't need to diet. I don't need to work out more. I don't need to beat myself up more. I don't need to change anything about my day-to-day habits. I need to sit in silence right now. I need a moment to myself. I need to feel and breathe and remind myself that this is the temple I was given in this lifetime. This is it. This is my one vessel. This is my one life. Like, this is what I was gifted in this life. This is it. I don't get another body in this life. I don't get another chance. And at some point, we can really get lost in wasting such a huge part of our lives, not liking ourselves, hating ourselves, self-sabotaging, beating ourselves up every day. Or we can take the other avenue of looking to find more self-love, right? Of looking for acceptance, of looking to embrace ourselves the way we are. The way we are now, the way we are if we gain 100 pounds, the way we are if we get pregnant, the way we are if we get sick, the way we are as we age, the way we are as we transition. So today's journaling prompt that I want to gift you all, that I would love to kind of plant a little seed in as we move over to our restorative practice in a minute, is I want you today to sit down. Maybe right after this practice will be a really good moment to do that, because we're going to feel very grounded and very present in the body. I want you to sit down today and write a letter to your body. A letter to your body. As if you're writing an old friend, as if you're writing someone that you really know. Maybe you're writing someone that you feel like you haven't spoken to in a while, that you haven't connected with in a while. You can literally start the top of the page, "Dear body," and then see what the first sentence comes after that. "Dear body, I'm sorry. I'm sorry I've spent so many years hating you." Or, "Dear body, thank you. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to move through life. Thank you for allowing me to move, to hug, to touch, to feel, to kiss, to dance." See what comes. "Dear body." So a letter to my body. And write and write and write and write. There's no time limit to this. You can spend 15 minutes. You can spend an hour. If you find yourself touching on something sensitive that makes you emotional, stay with that. Feel into that. Breathe into that. Allow for that to be processed. And then if at the end of this practice you feel like you would like to read your letter out loud, you can either call up a friend, do a sharing with someone that you know, or if you feel brave and you want to share it on social media, or if you want to share it in the community group on yogagirl.com, just to have that safe space to share. So we can also take part in all of these letters of truth, right? Of truth. And remembering that everything heavy, everything judgmental, everything hateful, it grows in the dark. It grows in the dark. So the moment you speak these things out loud, you put some words to those emotions, you are going to find something changing inside. A little bit of space cleared, a little more space to take a deeper breath. So today we write a letter to our body. It makes me a little emotional just sharing that, because it's a really beautiful practice, and I really hope you take it to heart and you sit with that for a little bit. Our curated class on yogagirl.com today is Love Your Body with Jen Pasteloff. This is a perfect class for today's theme. It's literally a class centered around self-love, body acceptance, allowing yourself to be in the body as you are. It's a 1-hour practice. So if later today after this restorative class you want to go and take that class on the site, please do. I am feeling ready to take a card, and then I'm going to take that card over to the mat. So reminder for anyone, if you're not on yogagirl.com right now, if you're somewhere else watching this, we're going to do a 1 hour, exactly 1 hour practice on yogagirl.com, a restorative class with lots of props today to really allow us to calm and settle and ground. So if you want to join, you have a couple of minutes to head over there right now if you want. So, sip of coffee. Let's close the eyes. So as I shuffle our deck this morning with eyes closed, right away, let's drop into feeling. You can start to slow the breath down a bit, using that as a way to feel into the body. Noticing if your awareness is directed toward a special body part right now. Sometimes when we talk about the body, when we talk about our perception of the body or our judgments around the body, loving the body or looking to love the body, you might find your awareness being pulled toward a special part of your body right now. So maybe there's a body part that you have been struggling to love lately. Maybe there's a part of you that you have been trying to reject, that you've been resisting, that you've been trying to change. Perhaps that part of your body that every time you look in the mirror, you look away. And it's almost like those parts of ourselves, just the same with our wounds and our baggage and our personalities, our shadow side. The things we reject, they grow, right? They become very heavy, become like baggage. When we reject certain parts of the body, it's like we are rejecting ourselves as a whole. We can't decide that I like some of myself, but not this part of myself. We are one whole being. And this is a package deal. So self-compassion means learning to love all of ourselves. We don't get to pick and choose and decide this is okay and this isn't, this is beautiful, this is ugly. And when we reject parts of our bodies, we reject our body as a whole. So that means that we're spending a lot of energy in that very dark place. In that place of rejection, in that place of having decided that this part of who I am is not lovable, it's not worthy. And if we're dwelling in that place of unworthiness every day, of course, life is going to feel like a struggle. Of course, taking care of our bodies is going to feel impossible because we're rejecting the body. We're not embracing the body. We're not in tune and living fully in the body. And when we reject who we are, getting to that place where we're creating the kind of life we want is almost impossible. And of course, what we resist persists, right? The things we try to reject, it's like the things we bring more and more attention and awareness to, energy is drawn to that place. So the more time we spend not liking ourselves, the more reasons we're going to find in our day to not like ourselves. And we're going to begin affirming that dislike in everything we see, in everything we do. So what we want to do is turn all of this around. Turn all of this around. Stop going down that rabbit hole of, I have to change the way I look. I need smaller thighs or more slender arms or a flatter stomach, or I need to lose weight, I need to change something. Stop going down that rabbit hole of thinking we have to change anything about who we are, and instead open the doorway to consciousness, to presence, and really beginning to connect the dots that the days where we feel terrible about who we are generally are triggered by something in our inner world. So let's address that feeling of not feeling good enough. Let's address that wound that sits in our heart, that feeling of not being lovable, of not being accepted. Let's go there. Let's look at that. Let's bring space into that place. Let's feel those feelings. Ask for help when we need it. And walk down that path of changing the narrative, of changing the story. So that we can recognize how absolutely beautiful we are in this moment now. And that there's nothing we could ever change about our bodies that would make us more lovable. You are so unbelievably lovable in this moment, here, now. You are worthy of love, of respect, of support, of being seen in this body, the way your body is in this moment. And thinking that it could ever be different, or like you would be worthy of more love if your body changed, it's a big illusion that you've been fed your entire life. And our work now is undoing that. Our work right now is returning to the truth of who we actually are, and who you actually are is love. So let's take a deep, honoring, beautiful breath into that place of love that lies within. Open the mouth and breathe some of that love back out. And we'll blink the eyes open. I'm going to split this deck. B. I don't know why that made me a little emotional. We got the B card today. So before we head over to start our restorative practice, I'm going to read about the B. Oh wait, this is in the back. I need both hands. So B, we have not received the B. I have never pulled a B card at all. We were talking about bees the other day. I'm talking about a lot of animals, obviously, because I'm gardening and I'm attracting everything. I feel like we are getting a lot of air animals, like a lot of things that fly and insects and bugs and birds. Okay, the bee. The bee is earnest, hardworking, and democratic. The bee personality is a delight to be around, especially when there is a team project on the horizon. Bees love to work steadily and thoughtfully until the final task is complete. They are sensitive creatures, aware of many subtleties at once. Since they're artists at heart, they usually add creative details to the overall vision. For the most part, they have bustling, joyous personalities until they're too tired from all the work. Then they gripe and then sting. This is interesting. When in balance, the bee is content, active, and vibrant. When out of balance, the bee feels overworked or is annoyed. To bring into balance, mini vacation. Okay, this is it. So anyone who's feeling a little overworked, and overwork can come even if you're not at work right now. You can feel overworked trying to keep your family together, trying to keep your shit together right now. You have every right to feel overworked, even in lockdown. Absolutely. So mini vacation. Let's go to our mini vacation right now. So if you're anywhere else, if you're on social media, we're going to say goodbye right now and meet over at yogagirl.com. Bring your device for your music, and let's head over to the mat right now. Okay, I need to bring this phone. Oop.